Hi Sophia, I'm Alex. I'm going to be your occupational therapist today. We're going to be looking at the interphalangeal flexion and the interphalangeal extension of your thumb. This does require me to touch you. Is that something you're comfortable with?
Yes.
Perfect. Sit with your thumbs up. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and stabilize the dorsal and volar aspects of your proximal phalanx, and you can start your finger in a bent position. Go ahead and lift your thumbnail towards the ceiling. Perfect. Since you were able to complete that motion against gravity, I'm going to go ahead and provide some pressure. I'm going to go ahead and provide pressure at your distal phalanx. You can go ahead and raise your nail bed towards the ceiling. Don't let me push you down. Perfect. Since you were able to withhold that resistance against gravity, I would go ahead and give you a 5 out of 5. Go ahead and lift that nail towards the ceiling. Since you were able to withhold some resistance, but not the entire duration, I would go ahead and give you a 4 out of 5. Alright, since you were unable to withhold any resistance against gravity, I would go ahead and give you a 3 out of 5. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to lay with your hand in supination on the table. Keep your thumb kind of rested on the anterior surface of your palm. And I'm going to go ahead and palpate here on your ulnar side of your anatomical snuff box for your extensor pollicis longus. I still do want to be able to stabilize here at your dorsal and volar aspects of your proximal phalanx. And then I'm going to ask you to start in a slightly bended position. Go ahead and move your nail towards that side of the wall. Perfect. Since you were able to complete that motion in the gravity minimized position, I would go ahead and give you a 2 out of 5. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and complete that motion one more time, moving your nail towards that side of the wall. Since you were unable to complete that motion, but I did feel a trace contraction, I would go ahead and give you a 1 out of 5. Go ahead and move that nail towards that side of the wall. Since you were unable to complete that motion and I was unable to observe a trace contraction, I would give you a 0 out of 5. And for this one, you're going to want your thumb, your nail facing the floor. Sophia has a nice parallel angle between her upper extremity and the floor, with her nail bed facing the ground. I'm going to go ahead and palpate for your volar and dorsal aspects of your proximal phalanx. And now go ahead and raise your thumb towards that ceiling. Perfect. Since you were able to complete that motion against gravity, I would go ahead and provide some pressure. I'm going to go ahead and provide pressure at your distal phalanx of your thumb. Go ahead and push against my finger, raising your thumb towards the ceiling. Since you were able to withhold pressure against gravity, I would go ahead and give you a 5 out of 5. We'll try that one more time for the 4. Since you were able to withhold some pressure, but not the entire duration, I would go ahead and give you a 4 out of 5. And then lastly, I'm going to provide pressure one more time. Since you were unable to withhold pressure against gravity, I would go ahead and give you a 3 out of 5. In the gravity minimized position, Sophia is laying with her arm in full supination with her finger in front of her palm. I'm going to go ahead and provide stabilization at your volar and dorsal aspects of your proximal phalanx. Go ahead and flex your thumb, bringing that thumb towards your palm. Perfect. Since you were able to complete that motion in this gravity minimized position, I would go ahead and give you a 2 out of 5. Go ahead, flex that thumb for me. Hold down like it's a button. Since you were unable to complete that motion, but I did feel a trace contraction, I would go ahead and give you a 1 out of 5. And then one more time, go ahead and flex that thumb for me like you're pressing a button. Okay, since you were unable to complete that motion and I did not feel a trace contraction in this position, I would go ahead and give you a 0 out of 5.
Hi Alex,
I'm Sophia. I'm going to be your occupational therapist today. Today we're going to be doing a manual muscle testing. So this is a test that just lets me see the motion of your muscles, specifically in your thumb, and we're going to be looking at palmar abduction. This test does require me to touch you. Is that going to be okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, great. So for palmar abduction, Alex is going to have her arm in supination, and I'm going to be stabilizing her distal forearm. Alex, I'm going to have you move your thumb towards your body. And since she's able to do that motion, I'm going to apply pressure to the lateral aspect of her first metacarpal. And then I'm going to have you move your thumb towards your body. Good. She's able to resist pressure, so that would be a 5. And then I'm going to have you do that same motion again, thumb towards your body. So she's able to resist pressure for a limited amount of time, so that'd be a 4. So for the third, I'm going to apply pressure and do the same motion. So that would be a 3 because she's not able to resist pressure. So for minimized gravity position for palmar abduction, the forearm is going to be in neutral, and I'm stabilizing her distal forearm and palpating her volar radial wrist and superior surface of thenar eminence. So I'm going to have you move your thumb towards the wall in front of us. Perfect. Since she was able to complete that motion, I would give her a score of 2. And then I'm going to have you do the same motion, move your thumb towards the wall in front of us. So since she was not able to complete the motion, but I did feel trace contraction, that would be a 1. And then I'll have you do it one more time, move the thumb towards the wall in front of us. So there was no contraction and no movement, so that would be a score of 0. So for radial abduction against gravity, the client is going to have forearm in neutral position, and we have support underneath. I'm going to be stabilizing her distal forearm and then applying resistance on the lateral aspect of her first metacarpal. But first I'm going to see if she can complete the motion. So I'm going to have you move your thumb towards your body. Perfect. So since she's able to complete this movement, I am going to apply pressure on her lateral aspect of first metacarpal. So I'm going to have you move your thumb towards your body again. Perfect. So since she was able to resist the pressure, I give her a 5. I'm going to apply pressure again and have her complete the motion. So since she was able to uphold some resistance, I'll give her a 4. And then I'm going to apply pressure again, move your thumb towards your body. So she was not able to withhold any pressure, so I would score her a 3. The gravity minimized position for radial abduction, the client's going to have their forearm in supination, and then I'm going to stabilize the distal forearm and palpate the radial lateral wrist, and then I'm going to have you move your thumb away from your body. Great, so since she was able to complete that motion, that would be a score of 2, and then I'm going to have you move that thumb away from your body. So since she was not able to complete the movement, but I did feel trace contraction, it would be a 1. And then one more time, move your thumb away. Okay, since there was no movement and no trace contraction, it would be a 0.